Thank you. Thank you, Daniele, for that overview. So what was interesting is to also give us a sense of scope, right? It's within municipal waste, which is just 10% of all waste generated, and then we have 1% specifically potentially on household hazardous waste. But I also take as a kind of action point, maybe also for this group or this platform or this network, however you want to call it, to look more into some of the data aspects and gather maybe more information that could be helpful for also setting future policy requirements. That might be something to look into. Thank you so much, Daniele. Stay with us as well. I will now introduce our next speaker, which is Françoise Bonnet, Secretary General at ACR+. We talk a lot about this separate collection obligation, but at the end of the day, it's about households, which means it's about municipalities. And as Nicolas mentioned, there are very different performances, between rural, urban, densely populated urban areas. Every municipality is different, has many obligations on separate collections. So what do you think is going to change with this new obligation? Françoise, over to you.
Thank you very much, Jean-Paul, and thank you to FEAD for inviting us to be part of this partnership. I think very important to always collaborate. It is in our DNA at ACR+ to have this multi-stakeholder approach. So for those who do not know ACR+, we are a network of cities and regions trying to support them to circular economy and this big transition already for 30 years. And we always try to give concrete tools to our members in order to improve their systems, waste management, and more in general, material resource management. And we have an important focus on prevention. So really trying to decrease the waste production by changing our consumption and production patterns in the different territories where we are acting with our members. So you can see that we are in different countries and we are based in Brussels. And I have the chance to rely on 15 experts in Brussels, including some of them here attending this workshop. So of course, for municipalities, I think that a lot have been said already. It's quite a big challenge. I would say that most generally, this separate collection already exists. So I'm not sure we will have a big change in terms of this. I mean, with the mandatory separate collection, because it exists already, maybe not in a very efficient way or could be improved, but it exists. What is really difficult, and it's why I think it's really important to have this value chain and to have this collective intelligence to improve the systems, is that it's not easy for municipalities because, as it was mentioned, we have a very diversity of waste that require different type of collection systems. Most of the time they are in small quantities, and most of the time they are diffused quantities. So it's really difficult to quantify them and to have a reliable data and to collect them also. So it's really more or less a case-to-case selective collection system, what is not easy to do. What is also not easy is that an occasional waste. It was just mentioned before this interesting report on the behavior of the consumer, the household. And here, it's not easy for the municipalities to have this automatism that usually you have when you put in a specific bag your paper or your cans and plastic packaging, because there are most of the time used occasionally, those products that become waste. So it's not easy for municipalities to communicate on this system of collection and also to have the right behavior, because it can change from a waste to another. not easy, so quite difficult also for that. And it was mentioned before, very important to identify the hazardous waste, but for a household, not always an easy task. Another point, it has to be handled with care. And we need to guarantee the security of the inhabitants, but also the collectors. And on the same time, we must preserve the environment. We cannot put in the landfill this kind of waste, or we have to be sure that households they do not put those kind of waste in their skins, or I mean in water, etc. So very important to avoid irregular disposal, and that it is really in a safe way. Also that we avoid disposal in the environment, like illegal dumping and waste flushed down in drains, so very difficult also to control. And to ensure the safety of waste users and collection crew. And I would like just to mention maybe what a big problem that we were facing and trying to solve with our member during the COVID crisis, because from a day to another, we had a lot of waste considered as hazardous waste, and we didn't know how to secure the collectors, the users with masks, etc. So we also discovered how it was difficult to handle this kind of waste, and that become from a day to another hazardous waste. What is also clear is that we need to offer different collection systems because of the different type of waste, and also because of the different type of territories. It was also mentioned that you do not have the same results and neither the same collection schemes if you are in a rural area or in a city, or in a very density area. So we need also to adapt our collection schemes to this. So we have different type: civic amenity sites, mobile collection points for a lot of chemicals when we have dense population and we do not know where to offer a place to bring those waste. So we have mobile collection point, take back systems, and we have it quite in an efficient way, not in this particular workshop today, but with the batteries, it works quite well, the take-back systems. And of course, also door-to-door collection, not always easy neither, because of course, those kind of collection schemes, they have a cost. So that's why I'm happy also to maybe consider more the EPR systems. We have seen that maybe it's not a bigger quantity that is collected, but for the municipalities, you know that there is a big difference. Most of the time when you have an EPR put in place, an EPR system put in place, you have a cost shared between different stakeholders, including the producers. So, and we have to remember also that in the Waste Framework Directive, there is a general principle of the full cost coverage of this. So it's, I think, never the case, but at least it helps municipalities to cover the cost. So a lot of challenge for local authorities. Setting a consistent, centralized and proactive communication, not easy because we have different waste, we have different system of collection, so we really need to clarify sorting instruction, and also to clarify how household can identify their hazardous waste, information on the different collection system option, safety requirements, ensuring to reach all part of the population, because all part of the population use in a day or in another hazardous waste. Defining also the cost-effective collection modes, matching household constraints, because if you do not don't ease the selective collection or the let's say the sorting at source or the sorting behavior, you won't have a good result. So we need to be sure that there is close to a certain number of household the place to bring back the hazardous waste with opening hours, not always the opening hours during the day, because a lot of people, they work. So we need also to offer in the evening. And you know, like me, that this has a cost because it's like an extra hours. And we have also to consider household without car or with a car, because if you have to transport your hazardous waste by your own far away from your house, not easy if you do not have a car. And of course, always the same story. If you have a rule, you need to control the non-compliance and to give also an answer to the non-compliance, because a rule without sanction usually is not very efficient. Lack of data. We have noticed that it's really difficult to have comprehensive data. And for us, it's not easy to benchmark and to identify the best practice, because we still have really an important lack of data. And maybe this is something that we can work all together on this, and thanks to this obligation that we will get with the time more relevant data. Handling of non-household hazardous waste. What are the limits? What are the costs? We have also our budget, so cost-efficient system. We need to make a balance. The recycling also, what recycling routes, what implication on collection modes. So it's important also to know what are the recycling infrastructure we can rely on and where they are, in order to also treat, it was mentioned, the transport, and before the transport, when you gather all the waste with the same characteristics. So important also to really have a holistic view and a comprehensive view of all the system and the end of the system, also with the recycling and what we do with the collected waste. And for us, prevention. I'm happy that it was mentioned by our colleague from DG Environment. We could maybe try also to decrease the quantity of hazardous waste produced, and maybe render them also a little bit less dangerous, in order to be easily handled in the future. So thank you very much, and happy to discuss with you on the topic.